sessions of Entrepreneurship Unlocked, a lecture series initiated by SES Sridhara Kapula College of Commerce and Management in collaboration with Global Chamber of Saraswat Entrepreneurs. Before we commence with the formal proceedings, I request our respected Principal, Professor Santosh Patkar Sir, our Vice Principal, Smriti Gopal Ma'am, to kindly escort our esteemed guests. Entrepreneurship is an exciting yet challenging journey. It is a path filled with dreams, innovations, risks, and countless decisions that shape your future of a startup. However, among all the crucial aspects of building a business, one of the most important factors that determines the success or failure is financial stability. A great idea can only thrive when supported by well-structured financial plans. And that is exactly what today's session aims to success. We are honored to have with us an esteemed expert in the field, CA Vaibhav Pondekar Sir, who will be guiding us on the topic building a strong financial foundation for your startups. His vast experience in financial planning, taxation, and business strategy makes him the perfect mentor to help us understand fundamentals of managing finance effectively. On behalf of SES Sridhara Kapula College, I extend a warm welcome to distinguished resource person, our principal and vice principal faculty members and dear students. Your presence here today reflects your eagerness to learn, grow, and take one step closer to your entrepreneurship goals. Before we proceed, let us take a moment to formally introduce our esteemed guest. To introduce our resource person for today's session, I now invite Ms. Isha Franco to take the stage.
Beyond his professional interests, he is popularly known as Anta CA of such an illustrious career spanning taxation, finance, auditing, and entrepreneurship, we are indeed honored to have with us Vaibhav Spice Kondekar sir with us today. On behalf of our college, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Kisha, for that wonderful introduction. As a gesture of appreciation and respect, we would like to present Floral Background. I request Principal Sir to present a potted plant to our resource person, Mr. Vaibhav Kondekar sir. Thank you, sir. I request Kisha to present roses to the dignitaries on the dais. We also like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Shirish Andre sir, coordinator of Saraswat Chamber. Thank you, Kisha. With that, we'll now move on to the most awaited part of today's event. It is time to gain a valuable insight into the financial aspect of startup from the expert himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming CA Vaibhav Kondekar sir as he takes us through today's session on building a strong financial foundation for your startup. Sir, the stage is yours.
Hello.
Very morning to all of you. I would like to thank the Sundara Pathro College of Commerce and Management Studies for inviting me here for this program. So, how many of you wish to become entrepreneurs in the future? Someone don't be shy. Nobody. I expected at least 50-60% of you are to raise your hands. Come on. How many of you all wish to start your own venture? Or how many of you wish to be accountants or some mentors to other small institutions? Please don't be shy. Okay. So, what do you see here? What do you see here? Companies, right? They are companies. But where are they located? Huh? Louder please. Small house, shade. Some people will say, "Hey, my bedroom is much bigger than this." Right? My living room is much bigger than this. What is being shown here? But let me tell you, all these places. These are big companies, Apple, Google, Amazon, Disney, Hali, Metal. All these companies had started in their garage. And today, if you guys wish to start your own business, it is obvious that you are not going to start from some posh locality or some posh building. You guys will also have to start somewhere small, right? So even the top companies began in a garage, proving that every big success starts small. कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग भी किसी छोटी जगह से स्टार्ट करेंगे. You know Mukesh Ambani, I mean Dhirubhai Ambani. He was a petrol pump attendant. Now see the state of his company, right? Right as this. So we are here to guide you. Start your business with strong fundamentals. Okay, that will help you grow and scale successfully in your future. So we are going to cover some essential taxes and record keeping techniques which help a small entrepreneur in going ahead with whatever he is doing. So by the end of this session, you will learn how to build your business while staying legally compliant and aligned with the vision of Bharat. So many of you will ask me, vision of Bharat. Am I attending some entrepreneurial session, or is it some meeting where Prime Minister Modi is going to attend? Right. So let me tell you one thing. In the previous two budgets that were presented by the Union Finance Minister, you must have heard about something called as Amrit Kaal, right? You have heard this term before, Amrit Kaal. So what do you mean by this Amrit Kaal? So this Amrit Kaal is the 25 years gap between 75th year of independence and 100th year of independence. So basically, our policy makers have already defined certain things that's going to happen in the next 25 years. So out of these 25 years, 2 years have already been gone. Now 23 years are still remaining. Assuming that you guys are still 20 years old. So the government has certain plans up to the time when you are going to be 43 years of age. So tomorrow, when you are going to pass out from this esteemed college, that time, if you have this little bit of knowledge in your mind, you will still be able to progress further. इस महाशय को आप सब जानते हैं. Is there anyone who doesn't know him? Is there anyone who doesn't know him? So this person here is no introduction. He has a vision for us. A vision for making India a $5 trillion economy by 2028. So what do you mean by this $5 trillion economy? Come on. What do you mean by $5 trillion economy? Don't know. Tell me anything. Total GDP or something. Okay? Start off. समझना. Start. You also don't know. Okay? Sangre. Okay, so basically, we have a vision for making India a $5 trillion economy. So what is this $5 trillion economy? It basically means that the gross domestic product of a nation would cross $5 trillion. It's a zero, right? So it's not a question of zeros now. Let's go a bit further. Like, so what do you mean by a $5 trillion economy? So it basically means that the gross domestic product of a nation would cross $5 trillion. So next question is, what do you mean by GDP? Economics students here? Any economics students? BCom? How many BCom students here? Can you pick them out? So basically, GDP means everybody knows the gross domestic product, but GDP is basically the total value of goods and services that are produced in the nation during a specific period of time. This is some basics which even the 11th standard person knows, and I believe you guys know it. I know that you guys know it. You guys are like telling each other, but you are afraid of telling me. This kind of vibe I am getting over here. Please don't be afraid. Please be free to answer. Okay. So now tell me, now that you know the definition of GDP, it's the total value of goods and services that are produced in a nation during a specific period of time. So how do we increase the GDP? Perfect. Perfect. So how do we increase our GDP? कर्म करते जाओ बाहर, फल की चिंता मत करो. This was a quote said by Lord Shri Krishna, and this is the same thing which you need to do. ये कर्म क्या है? What kind of कर्म does PM Modi want us to do? See here, produce and sell more goods and services. That's how we are going to increase our GDP. The definition of GDP only says goods produced in the nation during a specific period of time. But as an entrepreneur, only producing is enough. You guys must also sell that stuff. अगर कोई खरीदेगा नहीं, तो सेल कैसे होगा? Right? Make profits as well. Nobody starts a business to make a loss or to stay at a break even. Would you start a business to make a loss? Nobody. Right? You must also make profits. This is something very important. Profit भी बनाया, कोई बात नहीं. Tax भी भरना चाहिए. Tax क्यों भरना चाहिए? Will come to know at a later stage. See, I am not here to simply tell you to pay taxes or something of that sort. But paying taxes is also an integral part of being an entrepreneur. Okay. Motivate yourself as well as others. So ultimately, when you are going to make profit, you guys will be motivated. But what about others? How are you going to motivate others? You are going to help your staff, pay them salaries in time. You are going to purchase. You will be purchasing certain things from your vendors, pay them in time. Make sure you collect your dues also in time from your debtors. Right? And repeat. एक तो कर्म है, एक कर्म करते जाना है. Produce, sell, make profit, pay taxes, motivate others. Produce and sell, make profit, pay taxes, motivate others. This is something which is very important for an entrepreneur. यही करते जाना है, देश का इकोनॉमी अपने आप बढ़ेगा. You will feel proud that you have contributed to our nation in this way. Won't you feel? यही प्रकृति का नियम है बार. So now that we know this प्रकृति का नियम, how do we keep a tab of everything? हम तो प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, सेल करेंगे, प्रॉफिट बनाएंगे. How are we going to keep a tab of all this? Hello. Audit. Okay. सांग गो. बदलच्यान आसता पळयता. सांग आतां आन्सर कर. Audit. My friend, both of you all have gone one step ahead. Both of you all have gone one step ahead. There is something before that also, which you guys must have been learning, especially the commerce students, since class 11. Bookkeeping and accounting. There is a fine line of difference between accounting and bookkeeping. Accounting means you are keeping the record of what you are doing in business. Audit is required when your turnover crosses 1 crore rupees. But prior to that, let's say you are starting some small venture from your home as a freelancer. You are not subject to audit, my friend. You just simply have to maintain your record. As simple as that. So what do you mean by accounting? What do you mean by accounting? So backbenchers will answer this question. What do you mean by accounting?
Accounting is bookkeeping.
Accounting means bookkeeping. Okay? Sango. What do you mean by accounting? So, you guys have keeping a track of all the expenses, what comes in, what goes out, all these things, right? So, I think backbenchers know a lot of things. So, my friends, let me tell you one thing. Accounting involves these few things: recording, classifying, summarizing, reporting, and interpretation. These are the elements of accounting. If you take out any definition of accounting, you are going to find out this particular thing. Now tell me one thing, why do we need to account? Why do we need to maintain the accounts? क्या जरूरत है? So that we know how much money we are earning, how much expenditure we are incurring, and ultimately how much profit we are making. So there are many stakeholders here who are interested in these figures. So who are the stakeholders? You know, stakeholders means people who are interested in these figures. The banks, the government, right? Investors, everybody. So in this list, we are having the management first. The management wants to know how much profit they are making. They want to know the efficiency, which is very important nowadays. Right? Efficiency you need to maintain. The investors and the stakeholders, they want to know how much profit they are making. What is the value of their shares? What is the value of the investment that they have made? The government and regulatory authorities, they want to tax the people and the entrepreneurs. That's why they are interested parties here. The employees. Why do you think employees want to know how much profit their company is making? They are getting the big salaries, right? For promotion. Okay? So, let me tell you one thing. By looking at the financial figures, they are obviously going to know the profit that the company is making. At the end of the year, based on their performance, there is something called as bonus. You guys know about it. There is something called as payment of bonus act in India. wherein minimum 8% profit this employees get. Now let's say the company says कि बाबा अरे इस साल मैं तो घाटे में हूँ, I am in the loss, so no bonus. So the employees are also interested in this figure, like क्या मेरी कंपनी सच में लॉस में है, क्या कम प्रॉफिट बना रही है, क्या हमको उल्लू बना रही है, right? So that's why they are also interested in this figure. Now tell me one thing. Do you think you have whatever it takes to start a business, or whatever you have learned in college is enough to start a business? Do you think so? Do you think कॉलेज में जो कुछ पढ़ा है उससे I can start a business? Is there anyone here who thinks so? No? Okay. So tell me one thing. How many of you all had accounts as a subject? I can see some smiles. Only 3 of you all. Come on, raise your hand. Okay. So many of you all have accounts as a subject. Don't worry, I am not going to ask you any questions here now. So, what are these topics? What topics have you learned? Profit and loss, okay. Balance sheet, comparative statements, cash flows. Any names of specific topics that you have learned? कुछ बड़े-बड़े नाम बताओ ना. Amalgamation, demerger, dissolution. Okay. I was expecting some Haribhatam वाले नाम. Amalgamation, demerger, insurance accounting, hire purchase. Right? Whenever I take up this particular topic and any place, these are the kind of names I like to hear. Some things which are not really relevant in day-to-day accounting job. So let me just give you one example. It's a real story. When I was pursuing my CA, that time one of my friends from college gave me a call. And she was like, I have done BBA in human resource and now I am not getting a job. She had done this particular MBA in Belgaum and now she was not getting a job in Goa. So she was like, do you have a DY/BCom account book? So I asked her why. So she is telling me that I want to go through whatever we have learned in college so that I can apply for a job. So I just told her, probably whatever you have learned in college is not relevant to apply for a job at the moment. There are certain things you need to know if you want a job in the accounting sector in Goa. Certain things which are not required over there. We are going to discuss those things, don't worry. As an entrepreneur also they are going to be relevant to you, and if you are going to apply for a job as an accountant also, they are going to be relevant for you. Thirdly, if you are going to avail any government schemes as well, this knowledge will definitely help you out. Result you are going to know by the end of the session. So what are the components of accounting? So accounting involves bookkeeping, preparing financial statement, balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, just like how you guys have said. Analysis and interpretation. This is an important part which hardly anybody does. खाली बैलेंस शीट बनाया, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस बनाया, प्रॉफिट फिगर डिराइव किया, हो गया क्या? You need to analyze it. You need to find out why my sales have dropped, how my sales have increased, why this sudden rise in expense, why this sudden fall in cost. All these things you need to investigate. It may be like you are making profit today, but tomorrow again the profit may drop, right? what are the types of accounts that you require to prepare? You need to keep records of your assets, right? Okay, I'll just give you one example. Let's have one example. Okay. Think of any business that you want to start. If you were supposed to start a business today, what is that business you are going to start with? Correct. Tell me anything. No business. Clothing. Okay, good idea. What about you? Bakery. Wow. So good. Tell me. What business can you think of today if you want to start? Chai business. Too good. Okay. So, my friend, if you can think of anything today, which means that someday or the other, there are chances that you may start a business. There are certain chances that you may have a business in future. So, when you are going to have a business in future, these are basically the accounts that you are required to maintain. Like what are the assets that you have purchased? So she is saying she is going to start a bakery business. So obviously she will have to purchase the oven. She wants to start a chai business. So it is obvious she will have to purchase some stoves, gas cylinder, all these things. He wants to have a clothing business, so he'll have to have some showroom, right? So these are the assets, the liabilities. किन से मैंने पैसा उधार किया है, इनको मुझे पैसा देना है, whom do I owe the money? इनका भी एक पूरा अलग सा लिस्ट रहता है, अलग से इन लोगों का सब रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन होना है. Duty account, your capital, how much have you invested in the business? That's the वो तो रखना ही है, उसका पैसा लगा है, right? Revenue account, कहाँ से मुझे पैसा आ रहा है, क्या मैंने चीजें बेची है, कहाँ से मुझे पैसा आ रहा है, all these things we need to maintain. Expense account, कितना कॉस्ट हमने इंकर किया है, how much cost are we incurring, this record has to be maintained. Taxation, right? There are 3 types of taxes. One is tax on sales. They are typically the indirect taxes. So what do you mean by taxes on sales? Can you tell me some taxes on sales? Have you been to a restaurant? Goods and service tax, GST. Service tax का कोई नहीं आएगा. Since 2017 is gone. So excise is one tax, GST is one tax. So excise is on sale of liquor. Sorry, it's VAT. Excise and GST have too much. Okay, so there's no tax for excise at the moment. Central excise tax is there, but it's paid by the liquor manufacturing company, not at the ground level. So the taxes that are prevalent today are GST and VAT. 2 most important taxes. GST on all goods and services other than liquor, and VAT you will find only on liquor and petroleum products. Okay, so these are the taxes on sales. So whatever sales, whatever goods you are selling, these are the taxes that you are going to charge from your customer. So if you are having more sales, more would be the tax that you are going to charge from your customers. And let me tell you one thing, this particular tax at least, that is the GST and VAT, you are not paying from your own pocket. This is a misconception that people have. I am paying GST. Let me tell you one thing. You are simply collecting the tax from the customer and you are paying to the government. You are just like a middleman between the end customer and the government. That's it. You are not paying the GST from your pocket. It's the money which is collected from the customer. Tax on profit. What do you mean by tax on profit? These are basically the direct taxes. So can you give me some examples of direct taxes? Income tax is absolutely right. Income tax. I'm coming to that point also. So income tax is a direct tax, wherein whatever profit you are making, you are paying to the government. This is the amount which you are not collecting from the customer. Since you have made the profit, that's why you have to pay. Understood? So there is another tax over here. Tax on mere existence of your business. Business है इसलिए ये वाला tax है. Do you know of such tax? Just because you are having a business, you have to pay this tax. Okay, some kind of registration tax we say. So, there is one particular tax called as trade tax. Do you know trade license? So when you start a business, you register your business with the local body, the municipality, panchayat, and you pay this particular trade license. And once you pay this trade license, the owner of the property will have to pay something called as house tax, like how he has said, house tax, tax tax. And most of the time, this liability of the landlord has to be also borne by the businessman himself. Because the landlord will always say, "मैं क्यों करूँ? How will I करूँ tax? Since you have done a trade license, that's why I am getting this liability. It is your burden, you only pay." So when you are going to start a business, ऐसे भी बहुत businesses you will come across. So income tax. It's a tax that is levied by individuals and businesses by the government on profit that you have earned. Right? So what are the types of income taxes over here? The corporate income tax means the taxes which are levied on companies. So in case of a company, there are multiple rates of taxes. 15%, 22%, 25% and 30%. So do you know? सांगो. तू जर मला कंपनी स्टार्ट करताना कितना परसेंट असतो टॅक्स? So my friends, let me tell you one thing. If you are going to start a company, the rate of tax will depend on the type of company you are starting, then the type of business you are having. Let's say you are starting some manufacturing business, then there is a special section where 15% tax rate is applicable. If you are not availing any sort of exemption, then this 22% rate is applicable. Now let's say you have just started a company wherein your turnover is less than 400 crores, then 25% rate is applicable. And all other companies, 30% rate will be applicable. Taxation of firms, you all know what's a firm, partnership firm or a LLP, limited liability partnership. So in this case it is flat 30%. Personal income tax, as you guys know, it will be on the slab rate 5%, 10%. Right? So in the recent budget, how much is exempt? 12 lakh. Everybody knows this 12 lakh figure because it is marketed that way. 12 lakh तक tax माफ, right? So that's because of these slab rates. So my friend, let me tell you one thing. If you are having a business, be it as a proprietor, firm, company, LLP, whatever it may be, you must file your returns. Why you must file your returns? By the end of the session, you will come to know. Key income tax concept. Taxable income. So whatever income on which this tax is payable is called the taxable income. The deductions, like government permits certain deductions, right? So that income tax is subject. Yes or no? How many of you are there? Income tax is subject. Okay, so maybe by the time you reach the final year, you always have income tax as a subject. Wherein this deduction, this taxable income, such concepts, you will come to know. Tax credit. So basically, tax credit refers to the amount of tax that one of your vendors most probably must have directly paid to the income tax department on your behalf. TDS, you know what TDS, right? Tax deduction at source. Let's say I am providing some service to you. I am a chartered accountant, so you are hiring me as an auditor, right? I am providing auditing services, and my fees may be, let's say, 50,000 rupees. What you guys are going to do? You guys are going to deduct 10% from my income, and you are going to pay to the income tax department and pay the balance part to me, that is 45,000 rupees, right? So that's TDS. So when I am going to file my income tax returns, that's the time when I am going to get credit of all these things, right? Tax rates. The tax rates can be progressive or flat rate of income. Progressive rate means the slab wala rates, like in case of individuals, whereas flat rate means like that of from companies or from LLP, 15%, 22%, 25%, 30% flat rate. You may earn 1 rupee or 100 or crores of rupees. The rate will be flat. TDS. So this TDS is something that you deduct while you are making payments to your vendors, right? So let's say I am your vendor, you are deducting TDS from me, right? The third point, tax credit, is from my perspective. So whatever tax you are going to deduct from me, I am going to claim credit for that. Whereas you have done your term by deducting the TDS, your duty you have done by deducting the TDS. You are understanding, right? Now coming to goods and service tax. So GST is the indirect tax levied on supply of goods and services. This is basically the tax on the sales, the indirect tax. So GST structure is like a multiple stage tax, wherein you get the input credit. So let's say I am the end customer. She is the manufacturer, she is the wholesaler, she is the retailer, and I am the end customer. So whatever goods that she procures from the manufacturer is going to charge her tax. She is going to claim credit. ITC is going to get because she has paid taxes to her. Now she is going to sell the goods to her, where she is going to pay tax to her, and she is going to claim the credit input. Now, when I am the end consumer, I am going to buy goods from her. I am the end consumer, I am not selling for her. So the burden of tax is on me because I am not going to take the So that's how the GST system works. GST registration is compulsory if you reach the turnover limit. So do you know the turnover limit for GST? When you have to register the GST, do you know? कभी रजिस्टर करना है? कभी रजिस्टर करोगे GST में? सर मैं आज बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ, मैं रजिस्टर करना चाहता हूँ GST. इसी तरह की certain cases yes, in certain cases no. So if your business requires you to purchase certain things, some expensive stuff from outside the state, then my friend yes, you have to register the GST from day one. But if you are starting a small business, like say bakery, a small garment business, or even making chai, you are not required to register the GST at that moment. So having certain limit of 20 lakh rupees for services and 40 lakh rupees for trading. Are you all getting what I am trying to say? Clear? Good to go? Good to go? Compliance. See my friend, once you register under GST, you are required to file your return with time. See, you guys must be wondering one thing. This session was supposed to be on raising finances. Why is this person continuously focusing on these aspects? This must have been some thought which is coming in your mind, right? So let me tell you again. Just come here. By the end of this session, you will come to know why I am discussing all these things. These things are very important because today you may ignore them. But when you are going to start your business, this is where you are going to make the mistakes. And let me tell you one thing. GST is a very expensive mistake. First of all, it requires compliance cost. Because nobody is going to file your returns for free. This is first thing. Secondly, if you miss a deadline, the burden of late fee that you are going to pay will be nothing less than 500 rupees in case of a nil return. And even if you are having zero turnover and you are not filing the return, minimum late fee you are going to incur will be 500 rupees. If you are having some income and you are not filing your returns, then it can go up to 200 rupees per day. So you guys can understand this kind of seriousness this topic has. By chance, if you register the GST, so what happens is that whenever a person starts a new business, he goes to the bank to open a current account. So bank insists that give me a GST registration certificate. So GST registration certificate is very easy to obtain online. You just have to submit certain documents and within 15-20 days you are going to get your GST certificate. Now you submit that certificate in the bank and your account is opened. But now you don't file the returns. The kind of late fee that you are going to incur. GST component, input tax credit, output tax. Okay, input tax credit, taxable value. Okay, so these are certain important concepts that you must know in GST. So taxes on expense of business, trade and export tax, house tax, right? So let me tell you one thing. This trade and export tax is something which is very important. This is very important because whenever you are going to apply for a loan, the banks are going to demand this particular document. On the very first slide, you had seen certain big companies who had started in their garage. certain municipalities and panchayats don't give trade licenses for residential premises. That's a drawback in India here. In US, you can do anything, but there are certain drawbacks over here. You need to have your own specific designated place, a commercial establishment wherein you can do your business. Recently, the government is giving certain benefits for home bakers, home chefs, and they are giving trade licenses even in residential premises. But in case of other businesses, like if you want to start something of industrial nature, with some machinery, this and that, and it is not permissible. So you must find out with the local body whether you are permitted to do certain things before starting your business. Compliance and reporting. You need to have an accounting software, timely you have to ensure your filing on GST and income tax return. You need to maintain all the invoices, whatever purchases you are making, you need to maintain them properly. So now we have come to a part for which you guys are mostly interested in. That is the government support for MSMEs. मोदी जी तो आपके बोलते रहते हैं ऐसा सपोर्ट हम दे रहे वैसा सपोर्ट हम दे रहे, तो आखिर ये सपोर्ट कैसा सपोर्ट हमको मिल रहा है फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट, स्पेशली फॉर द MSME सेक्टर. तो डू यू नो द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ MSME? Micro, small and medium enterprises. That's the full form. But do you know which companies which enterprises are considered micro, small and medium? So recently in the recent budget, this slab has been modified. So this is it. So in case of manufacturing and service sector, a micro enterprise mean investment would be up to 2.5 crore or an annual turnover up to 10 crore. So if you are having a business where your turnover is less than 10 crore, it's a micro enterprise. That's a big amount, right? This is called micro. And if your turnover is above 500 crore, then it's a large enterprise. So if your turnover is up to 500 crore, then you are within the ambit of MSME. Otherwise, you are not. Whatever scheme that you are getting under the MSME from the MSME department will cease to exist from 500 crore onwards. So here are some of the central government schemes. So I just go through them and at the end I will ask you certain questions. You guys need to answer. Ready? Okay? Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Come on, read. Come on, read. I am going to ask you certain questions. So in this scheme, the government provides financial assistance to non-corporate, non-farm, small-scale micro enterprises. Loan amount up to it's 20 lakhs now. Previously was 10 lakhs. So there are these three categories: Kishore, Tarun, and Tarun Plus. Okay, wherein they give loan from 50,000 and up to 20 lakhs. Credit Guarantee Fund Transfer. So CGT and SC scheme. So the government gives loan up to 10 crore rupees. They are giving loans up to 10 crore rupees without any collateral. So do you know what is collateral? What's the collateral? It's some kind of security that you keep with the bank. That in case of default, the bank will sell that property and get its money back. So what the government says is that मैं गारंटी दे रहा हूँ, मोदी जी कह रहे हैं, तुमको बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना है, गारंटी मैं देता हूँ, मेरी सरकार दे रही है गारंटी. You just start your business. Up to 10 crore rupees, they are willing to give you. Okay. Stand Up India. So this Stand Up India scheme is basically meant for the SC and ST communities, where they give loan from 10 lakh rupees to 1 crore rupees. This is the PME scheme, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, wherein they are giving loan from 50 lakh to up to 50 lakhs in case of manufacturing and 20 lakh of service enterprises. This credit scheme, capital subsidy scheme, loan up to 1 crore. CDP, loan up to 10 lakh. ESP loans in 59 units. NSIC subsidy scheme. Now we have come to state government schemes. Goa government scheme. Loan by EDC. Somewhere or the other you must have, and these people, somewhere or the other, they must have come to your college also maybe. So they often visit colleges where they speak to young people like you, give loans by KBID, Adi Vijay Industry Code, schemes by Department of Industries. So all these schemes are loan based. So now tell me one thing, what is common in all these schemes? In all these schemes, what is that one thing in common? He's saying loan. What is that one thing in common? No collateral. Okay. What is that one thing in common here? And everything small enterprises. Okay. So one thing common over here is that all these schemes are loan based. They are all loan based. Government will give you collateral free loan. Collateral free means you are not required to keep any security. You may be coming from any background. You may not be having your own house. You may be staying in some rented place, or you may be some mudkar or not having your own property, right? But the government is going to give you a collateral free loan for which you have to pay the interest. Interest भी है, ऐसा नहीं है कि interest नहीं है, but the interest rate is going to be subsidized, right? Or there will be some subsidy which would like reduce your burden of interest. That's it. But the main thing here is that all these government schemes, they are loan based. Okay. So what is their loan based? So क्या होगा? So my friend, when you are going to apply for this subsidy, you guys must show all these records, all these compliances to the bank. That is when they are going to give you the loan. So this is the thing that I wanted to disclose at the end. Like why all this compliance part is necessary, why you need to maintain your account, why you need to file your income tax return, why you need to file the GST return. Because of all these things, right? All these schemes that are being promised by the government, they are loan based. If you want to avail any of these schemes, it is obvious you have to approach the bank. Bank is going to ask you all these things. So if you are not maintaining these records from day one, how are you going to get the loan? Let me tell you one thing, this EDC, you know what EDC, right? Economic Development Corporation. What are they doing? They are having their flagship scheme, Chief Minister Rozgar Yojana, wherein they are giving loan at a very subsidized rate. Effective rate comes to 2% per annum. 2% रेट आहे त्याला कितना इंटरेस्ट up to 20 lakhs you can get loan 2% per annum, right? But if you want to avail that loan, you need to establish yourself as a genuine person. They are going to see your genuineness. You correct your capacity to generate the fund, or it is going to end up being a dead asset. They are going to see, they are going to evaluate, and this is why you need to maintain all the records properly. Now let me tell you one thing. For EDC loan at least, they are not going to see all these things. Because EDC loan, this CMRY loan is made for a person who may be just 8th standard pass. But let's say you are already having a business. Now say she wants to start a tea business. Now after selling tea, she decides to start a restaurant. She wants to expand her business. That's the time when the financiers are going to ask her for the income tax returns, the GST returns. Right? So, ऐसा है. So conclusion would be align your business with the vision of Bharat. Because see, the government has already set its goals for the 25-year Amrit Kal, of which 2 years have already gone. So next 23 years at least, you can do something. And these schemes that I have spoken about, by the time you guys pass out from college, they may be in existence or not. Astali का guarantee ना, but this vision of 25 years, that's going to remain. Our country will be a $5 trillion economy, right? Another thing that I wanted to tell you is that, see, you know why this income tax rebate has been extended up to 12 lakh rupees? Do you know why? That's because there are many people out there who are filing their returns simply showing a little amount less than the basic threshold so that they can get benefit from the zero taxation. The government knows about this. So they want the people to show more income. So when will the people show more income? When they are going to get some tax rebate. The government also understands that people are cheating. They are doing all the business in cash. They are not following the digital transaction norms. So that's why the government wants you to show more turnover. More turnover means high GDP. High GDP means they are going to get the $5 trillion economic target made by 2028. You are understanding the chronology, right? So certain things you have to understand by reading between the lines, and this is something, one of them. So you need to understand accounting, income tax, GST, which is crucial for financial health. Continuously you need to learn, stay updated about the regulations, what's happening. So this scheme that I am telling you today, by the time you have graduated, this may no longer be in existence. But this knowledge which I have shared with you is going to remain with you throughout your lifetime, provided you go home and reflect on them. Most of the government subsidies are loan based. If you wish to avail any government scheme, be ready to avail the loan from day one. This should be your, what do you say, सोच. असं विचार करून वाचपात नाही. पहिले दिवसात आपण लोन घेतो. So जीवन मंत्र for the entrepreneur. Compliance परमो धर्म. So you have to be legally compliant business from day one. That's when you are going to get all the government schemes. That's why I am saying compliance parmo dharma. Means compliance comes first. That's it. So, questions? Anybody having any questions? Any questions? To all the people who are willing to start a business. Any questions? Anybody? Even a silly question would do.